All right, guys. Last day before spring break. Very exciting. And I'm sorry to be ending with such a hardcore topic right here, but with the snow days and everything else, this is just how it pans out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about monohybrid crosses. All right, I think you guys definitely learned about this stuff back in middle school, so hopefully you kind of remember some of this, okay? I know, again, also that you're probably pretty distracted as well, but let's try to focus today. Again, this is kind of the basic skill that everything else is going to build on in this particular unit. Okay, all right. So let's review a couple terms here. What exactly is a gene? A gene is a part of DNA that codes for a trait. Okay, so under gene in your notes, let's write down portion of DNA that codes for a trait. All right. So for example, you got a gene for eye color, hair color, all those things on the baby lab that you were basically circling specific alleles for, like face shape and chin and things like that. Those are all genes. Okay, so it's a portion of DNA that codes for a trait. All right. Now, we can relate something else to that known as an allele. All right, so alleles are basically going to be two different forms of a gene. And those two different forms can be either dominant or recessive. And we talked about that yesterday. Okay, so two different forms of a gene. You can have a dominant allele or a recessive allele. Dominant allele, again, is going to be a capital letter. Recessive is going to be a lowercase. Okay, all right. So with that said and done, let's hop to this right here. Let's review a little bit. So you guys have this chart in your notes, okay? Why don't you take a few to actually go through this, if you guys don't mind, fill in the correct answer responses. Ms. Hartsock, if you could hit pause and let them work through this, that'd be great. All right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what these answers are. All right, so little d, what I'm asking for phenotype. Phenotype is the physical trait that you see being shown, okay? So the phenotype here for little d is going to be dimples, okay? All right, the genotype, remember we have three genotypes. We got hetero, homodominant, homorecessive, okay? So what we're going to have here is homorecessive, okay? All right, this one right here, what we got big H, little h. Remember, if you just have one of those capital letters, that means that that's going to show. So we're going to have a unibrow for that one, okay? And big D, little d is going to be no dimples. All right, what genotype is this one? It's going to be heterozygous, okay? All right, next one here, big D, okay? What we got here is we're going to have no dimples, all right? No dimples. And what is going to be the genotype? I have two dominant alleles, so therefore that is going to be homodominant. Okay, and this very last one here, looks like we're going to have no dimples because I have that one capital D and then two eyebrows because I got two little H's. Now guys, if you're having a hard time with this particular step right here, it is imperative that you go get some help on this, okay? Please, 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 please. I can't say that enough because everything's going to build on that. You'll see that here today. Okay? All right, well, let's move on. We're going to talk about Punnett squares today. All right, so under Punnett square, let's just simply put down a tool used to predict genotypes and phenotypes of the offspring. Okay? So it allows us to basically make a prediction as far as what traits your kids could have. Okay? It's kind of an interesting thing to do. All right? So a tool used to predict the genotypes and phenotypes of the offspring. If you guys get that done writing that, take a look at this right here, this little animation, because that's basically showing you what is happening with a monohybrid cross, or excuse me, a Punnett square. We haven't even gotten to the monohybrid crosses yet. Okay. All right, so since I've said it, what is a monohybrid cross? Hopefully everybody knows that mono represents a number. So what number do you think mono represents? Mono represents 1. So it's a Punnett square using only one trait. Okay, Punnett square showing only one trait. Okay. All right. So next, let's put these two things together. Okay. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to put the whole idea of the Punnett squares with what you guys learned on, I don't know what day that was. Who knows what day that was? Maybe Monday, about the Mendelian genetics. Okay, so don't write anything down just yet, but this is in your notes right here under where are we? Right here, Mendel's work, purple flowers and white flowers. So write this first little bit right over here. We're going to put something over here. Okay. All right, so if you guys recall, in Mendel's experiment, he looked at flowers, okay? So with what you remember, which trait do you think is dominant, purple or white? Which one do you think is dominant? Okay, and hopefully you guys are thinking in your head that purple's dominant. And the main reason why is because, and this is not really the best rule of thumb, but it's the one that shows up the most, okay? So because it is dominant, what we're going to do here is that we're going to do a little problem associated with what Mendel did. Okay, so if purple is dominant and white is recessive, cross a purebred, which I'm telling you here is a homozygous dominant purple flower with a white flower. Okay, sounds kind of crazy. So it's kind of like a little word problem here. Now, purebred again means that there's nothing but that dominant trait in there. Okay, so let's use the letter P here. If I don't give you a letter in these problems, you can pick one. So what I'm going to do here is when I say homozygous dominant, I'm going to do big P, big P. Okay. Big P, big P. All right. So, and it's going to be crossed with the white one. Now, we know that white is recessive, okay? Now, probably what some of you guys want to do is do little w here, okay? Don't do that. Once I pick one letter to use, it has to be represented for both the dominant and the recessive. So how I'm going to represent this one is going to be little p, okay? So that is going to be white, little p, little p. Now, as we're first doing this, it's probably going to be a little bit confusing, but as you guys know me, I'm going to give you lots of practice with this. Just make sure that you're writing these things down. Nothing yet. You don't have to write anything down yet. Okay? All right, now this is what I want you guys to write down in your notes, okay? I want you to do the big P is going to be crossed with the little p, okay? So this is my homozygous dominant purple flower, and that's what Mendel actually started off with. Remember, he cross-pollinated with the white flower, okay? All right, and go ahead and draw your square and put a little plus sign or a cross in it, okay? However you want to look at it. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is put your pens and pencils down and just watch, and I'm going to give you time to look, okay? Just watch what I'm doing here, please, okay? So once we have that, basically what we're going to do is that this parent can contribute this allele right here or this allele right there, okay? Remember, you get 2 alleles from each parent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one P there, and I'm going to put the other P there. You're basically going to split those apart, okay? Don't write anything yet. You'll have time, okay? If you guys wanted to put the big P's on top, that's fine. It doesn't matter. You'll still get the same answer, all right? So, got those distributed. Here, this parent can give this allele right there or this allele right there, okay? All right, we're still not writing anything yet. Now, what we're going to do next is basically we're going to combine them in the squares, okay? So basically, these two guys are going to come together, and they're going to go right here, okay? These two guys come together. They're going to go right here. These two guys come together for right here. And these two guys are going to come together for right there, okay? And that's basically how you're going to set up a Punnett square, all right? So once you guys take a bit, go ahead and write this down. If you want to put those arrows in there, you're more than welcome to do that for something that you can go back and reference, okay? So let's go ahead and pick up our utensils and write this down, all right? So this is basically showing you what the offspring will look like, okay? What's inside of here, you guys, in each of these 4 boxes, these are representing the possible genotypes and phenotypes of their offspring. This is the P generation, if you remember. This is the F1 generation, okay? Now, let's look at genotypes and phenotypes here, okay? What color flowers are all of these if purple is dominant and white is recessive? Every single one of them are purple, okay? And that's actually what Mendel got. He got every single one of those being purple, okay? So that's how to set up one of these crosses right here, okay? All right, let's do another one, okay? So you're going to put this one in your notes right beside it, okay? So I want you to put this cross right over here, all right? And basically, I'm going to kind of get you set up on this one. And again, it might seem a little strange what we're doing, but hopefully it'll make sense here in a second, okay? All right, so that first generation is going to self-pollinate. So basically, I'm giving you the cross, all right? If you guys could go ahead and write this in your notes. This is showing that I'm crossing 2 purples. And where did I get them from? Basically from the cross. Oh, I got to go through all this again. From the cross between these 2 parents right here. Okay? So this is the F1. It's going to self-pollinate itself. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead, do this, and let's fill it in. Okay? We're going to do it the same way. Okay? Right here, we got a big P. Here we got a little p. Big P, little p. Okay? I'm going to click through this as well. Why don't you guys go ahead and fill it in, okay? Fill it in as you go, and then when you're done, take a look up here to check your answer, okay? All right. So hopefully you guys have this right here, okay? So let's look at our results. All right, let's look at our results. Now remember, capital P is purple, little p is white. So as a class, shout out, what color is this one? Is it purple or white? This is definitely purple, okay, because I have the two capital P's. What color is this one? Okay, remember, if I just have one capital P, it's going to dominate this one. So this one's going to be purple as well. What's this one? That one's also going to be purple, okay? What color is this? This is going to be white, all right? So if we were to look at all the plants here, okay, about 75% will be purple flowers and 25% will have white flowers, okay? And if we take a look at this, this is what we started off with, the purple and the white, and here we had all purple flowers. And when these guys mated with themselves, this is what we got. Okay, now that doesn't mean it's a 3-to-1 ratio. That doesn't mean I have 3 purple flowers and 1 white flower. If you take a look at this one, there was up to 705 purple flowers and 224 white flowers. If we were to reduce that down, it would actually be a ratio of 3-to-1. Do you really need to know all that? No. You basically need to know how to set up the cross. This is just relating this to what you guys learned about yesterday or the day before. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do an example together, okay? Let's do an example together, all right? So, a male that is heterozygous for purple hair, all right? So, whoops, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing, okay? Is crossed with an orange-haired woman. Orange is recessive, all right? So, if you guys notice, I didn't give you any letters here. You can pick a letter to use, any letter that you want. Now, typically, if you are picking letters and you want to kind of go with the norm, you look at the dominant trait, which in this case is purple. How do I know that? Because I told you that orange is recessive. And I use the first letter of the dominant trait. Okay? So heterozygous, hopefully remember what that means. Heterozygous means different. So purple hair would be big P, little p, and it's going to be crossed with an orange-haired woman. Orange is recessive, so therefore you're going to have little p, little p. Now hopefully what you guys are seeing here is, and some of you guys are probably like, what? Okay, you got to know those terms, okay? Got to know these terms. Got to, okay? All right, so this is our cross, all right? So this is the male and this is the female, all right? So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and put them in our cross, okay? The male can give that or that. And the reason why I have the P's underlined is that because the lowercase and the capital actually kind of look pretty similar, okay? And then we got this one right up here, all right? And fill her in. If you guys are comfortable doing this on your own, go ahead and do it on your own, okay? All right. So that we're good, okay? And oftentimes students do this part and then they stop, all right? But you have to answer the question. So the question here is, what chance do they have in producing a purple-haired child, okay? So we got to look through all this, all right? What color hair do we have here, okay? We know that purple is dominant, orange is recessive. So I have that capital P, so this is purple. What color hair is this one? Shout it out. That's purple. What color hair is this? This is orange. And what color hair is this? This is orange. So 2 out of 4 are going to have purple hair. So if we were to do percentages here, that's basically 50%, right? It's like giving you 2 quarters out of 4. So think about quarters. And 50% is going to have orange hair, all right? So typically when I ask you a question about the chances, you want to state them as a percent, all right? You always state them as a percent, all right? So go ahead and fill this in. All right, so here's what's going to happen is you guys have 2 more examples on your notes, okay? You got 2 more examples on your notes. What I want you guys to do, you have this one right here, and then you have one on the back, okay? So everybody looks up here. You got this problem and you got this problem. You guys are going to take a few to work those out on your own, and then I'm going to go over them, okay? Here I actually gave you letters. You can use those letters or come up with your own. It doesn't really matter. All I really want is the correct answer, okay? All right, so Ms. Hartsock, if you don't mind, hit pause on the video, and you guys cruise through these problems, and obviously I'm going to share the answer, okay? Please take this serious. Please try on this, okay? Don't blow this off, all right? I get worried that that's what a lot of you guys are doing here lately is blowing all of this off, okay? There's no excuses, all right? No excuses at all. Let's plow through this, okay? All right, so hit pause and let's go. Okay, so let's go over these answers. Sorry, that was the old one. All right, here's example 2. If a man that is purebred with big ears marries a heterozygous woman for this trait, okay? So purebred, hopefully we know by now, is homozygous dominant, okay? And heterozygous, hopefully we know, looks like this. So this is the cross that you guys should have come up with, okay? So purebred and then heterozygous, all right? If you set up your cross, and if you notice I flip-flop them this time, I think I did. No, maybe I didn't. Okay, just to show you that you get the same answers. Okay, this is what you got. Okay, the question is what is the chance that their first child might express the dominant trait? Okay, so what I mean by the dominant trait is in order to express that dominant trait, you just have to have one B. That's it. So this guy has at least one B, one B, one B, one B. The correct answer here is that it would be 100%. Okay, hopefully we got that one right. If we didn't, let's write down the right answer, because then if you guys have examples, you can always go back and look at them. There's only but so many different crosses that I can ask you in problems, you guys. Okay, really, there's not that many. Okay, all right, let's go to this next one right here, example 3. A couple is heterozygous for the gene for big nose. So both of them are going to be heterozygous. So our cross is not going to look like that. Did I not fix this? Sorry, guys, I didn't fix that right there. Oh, I just gave away the answer. There's your answer. Okay. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so here is the cross that you guys have. Okay, they're both going to be heterozygous. So let's go ahead and split these babies up like so. Here's the answers. Pow, pow. Okay, the question is that they're about to have a child and hope that it has a small nose. Small nose is a recessive trait. So do they have a chance? Okay. So this is the small nose right down here, and the answer is yes, and how much of a chance is going to be 25%, okay? Now again, guys, I can't say this enough. It's all about practice with this. Practice, 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 practice. If you are struggling with this, you've got to go see Ms. Switzenberg for help during +1, okay? Please, I beg of you, all right? Please, 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 please get some help. All right, so here's what's going to happen for the rest of classes right here. You actually are on the back of your notes. If you guys notice down at the bottom, you have a bunch of problems, okay? And actually, I'll go ahead and show you. You have all of this, and this is your little key right up there, okay? This is kind of reviewing some stuff that we did the other day, and then you have 3 problems. So I want you guys to take the time to work these problems out. When you are done, I made a key for you guys. Ms. Hartsock will give you guys a key, or however she wanted to work that one out, and you guys check your answers, okay? Please don't keep that key, all right? You're going to check your answers and then give it back, all right? And then we're going to move on to an activity, okay? Well, not really an activity, it's just more work, okay? This is kind of like math in that you just got to work problems to get it right, okay? All right, so before you guys do that, everybody just hold on. Hold up, okay? So once you guys are done working out those problems and go over those, you have 2 options, okay? You guys are going to have, I'm giving you homework, okay? But if you check it out, this video didn't take very long, okay? So you're going to get the sheet that looks like this from Ms. Hardsock. This is homework. If you guys want to work on it here in class, you're more than welcome to get it done, so therefore you don't have homework over the break, okay? That is one option, all right? That is not due until Monday when you get back. Now, what it is due today is going to be those babies, that activity that we started yesterday. So what you guys have got to turn in today before you leave, okay, is the data sheet complete, the answers to all the questions, and your baby drawn. And remember what I said is if you turn in a baby that's all in pencil, that has a small face, and it looks like you did it in 5 minutes, you're going to get a grade that's going to reflect that, okay? So put a little bit of effort in that and turn those in today, okay? Remember, 1 baby per group. Make sure both your names are on the babies, and that's that, okay? I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter, okay? Behave yourselves, make good choices, and we'll all get back together on Monday, all right? All right, guys, you take care.